Hello, this is Chris here, and we're going to start a Photoshop session here, and this time it's detailed row 4D, that is page 4, the fourth row, which is labeled D. So page 4, row D. And the product we are talking about is, of course, UD-11, and that is detailed row for the for this comic album. This is a comic album for 40 pages, and it's a science fiction drama or science fiction adventure, which is going to be categorized as a sci-fi thriller action kind of production. So here's a preliminary cover for this album, and you can see here Barry Riley here at the right, and he's in danger, or he's in trouble, or he's in a lot of adventure in this album. Action, there's speed, there's action, there's intrigue, and there's spaceships, and there's a lot of things. So it's 987 degrees centigrade, and this is installment 1. This is episode 1 in a series of in an 8 series season. So season 1, 1 out of 8, Unlimited Danger, and 987 degrees centigrade. So that's a preliminary cover, and I'm now trying to put together the detailed row 4D. So let's get on with it. But before we start, we may want to take a peek at what the end result, what we want. And the end result is we want to accomplish something like this. We want to have a sheet which is printable on landscape A4 or landscape US letter, in which there is some dialogue. So this is the committed design for one row, namely row D on page 4. And what we want to do now is to determine the text, as I've done in this previous version here. This is the approximate text, and this is the extent of the balloons in the old design, and this is the approximate image that I want to draw. So the idea is then that I'm taking this sheet of paper, my A4 landscape, and I'm putting it on the light table, and then I'm tracing with a pen. I'm usually doing the Lamy fountain pens variant, and so that's the plan. So I want to have one of these, and then I want to have another one, and the other one is here. And this is called for the panels. So this is not actually for printing, but this is a intermediate document here, so that I can produce a bigger resolution, a bigger format for each panel. So the objective is then that I take one of these panels here, and then I put it on a dedicated paper, only this panel, and then I do the same for the other panels. So I get 4 sheets of paper, and I use those as an alternative for drawing the frames, and for the drawing the balloons, and drawing the actual faces and the scene in each panel. So this project, so I want, so that the output of today's session here will be this sheet of paper, or not on paper, but this is an electronic file, right? And then I will take this other electronic file and actually print it out. Alright, so that's the aim of this session. So let's see what we can do now. And so what the project is then is that I have to update this old document to the new design, where the balloons are a little different and the text is has a different size, and there are small things like that. So let's see if we can do that. Alright, the first thing we can do is just to update the title here to the new date. And the date is, the last revision is 24th November 2018, and that seems alright. Okay. Now to do this conversion here, I have to do a couple of, I have to move out these guys, because I had these guides here before, and you can see these guides are here, but this format doesn't apply anymore because that's the old one. So I have to remove these old ones. And to do that, I just unlock with F10 here, my special command, shortcut command, and then I have to remove the balloon coverage down here as well. So I delete that by the delete button. Delete. Like that. And now I want to delete the templates up here also, because these are like that. And now I want to import new ones. So let's see if I can find my new ones. This should be in my helper files document and detail rows, and I will open up a document like this. So here's my templates. And what I want is, I want to copy all of these here down here, and by right clicking on the mouse and choosing duplicate layers and then exporting to our row 4D here. Okay, then when I go back to the row D here, all these are pasted above that which was previously selected, so I had the selection there, I think, and then everything went above that. Alright, so that's one thing, then one adjustment I needed to do. So up here then, at the very top, then I have all these folders. So here's the caption text lines and the examples. So a caption text line, okay, maybe let's put a white back there so we can see it. Okay, so a caption text line looks like this, which is just a duplicated old text from another panel. But the good thing is that I get the correct typeface, I get the correct size, I get the correct leading, I get the correct variant, and so it's very helpful. And then I just type in whatever new text I want. So as you can see here, I'm only using the Roman variant here, and then I use italics in 2 places here, but depending on the text, then I can just quickly copy the format and then just type in the whatever letters I want. Alright, so that's one thing. And then what else do we have? We have caption guides. We don't have any captions in this row, but we do have balloon text lines. So these are the same, right? It's the same, it doesn't matter. Or does it? Well, as you can see here, if I show both at the same time, they are they're different precision. So a caption text line is always by default higher up, and a balloon text line is lower, and that is because the caption box is always perfectly aligned to the top frame, top part of the frame, while a balloon outline never is close, perfectly aligned. There's always some distance, and the difference is then that this is the distance, so there's always some distance here. Okay, so we have and then we have the outline, balloon outline. So for a one-liner you get this outline, for a two-liner you get this one, for a three-liner you get this one. So this one is the one that should fit with this one. If it were a balloon outline, but or balloon text, but it isn't. It's a caption text, so it's off height in the height here. So I have to select this one to actually be perfectly in the middle here. The vertical alignment. All right, so that's what we have. So our mission now is to look at the design, look at the text, and to select the right number of lines. So let's say that. So let's say we take this example here. This crazy text here. We have 5 lines of text. And let's say this panel 1, right? So we can so panel 1 is like that. It's over there. And the gutters are already done, so we can reinstall these. And there are only how many gutters do we have? 3 only. Okay. But the grid here is wrong because this is the old version, so we have to get the new grid. So I'm removing this by unlocking and deleting. And I want to delete that one as well. Okay, just do that. And then I'm duplicating the, let's see where we have it, the row rect grid. Here it is. I duplicate that into 4D, okay, and then I have the row rect there, so it's good. Okay. Then another thing which I have to adjust is the cropping rects, which I will talk about later. But for now, I'll just unlock these and delete those and go back and just copy the new ones. Duplicate them into 4D, okay? And I think that's mostly row rect, resized row panels. Okay, and the last thing is we have to exchange the layer mask here, because there's a few pixels missing here, so I'm going to remove or delete the layer mask, and then I'm going to show the new row rect grid version 5, and then I'm going to zoom in by pressing Z, and then I want to zoom in on a corner, so I drag a rectangle here and release, boing, and I'm pressing M for Marquee Tool, and I'm auto scrolling here. Let's see, okay, right, so I have the gutters, gutter, stop. Okay, so if I make this smaller now, you can see. So I have, this is the row here, right? And I've selected it all. And now, when I have the folder selected up here, the panels, it says, I now press layer mask down here. And then I get this new symbol here. And if I press Alt, I'm holding Alt down and I'm clicking on this icon here, I can see what the layer mask is. So here whatever is black will not be visible. Whatever is white will be visible. So that means that whatever is under here, so this drawing here, it's below this, right? So this drawing here we shine through wherever it is. Okay, so panel 1, it's be approximately here. Same here, panel 2, it was so it will be visible here. So if I move the panel 1 drawing, which now is here somewhere, out to the left, for instance, it will not be visible. Or if I move it down or up, it will not be visible. So only if you, and this is good because you can for instance enlarge it so that it only so it still crops within the row. Anyway, we can see this later, perhaps. Okay, so now I press Alt, keeping Alt again down, and I'm clicking on this icon again to restore the actual view here. Right, so now we have done the basic stuff, and what else should we do? We should remove the old tails. I have old tails here, and we need new tails. So I'm just going to push Control here and keep it down, and then I'm clicking on all the old tails here in the list, and I'm doing delete button. Oh, it didn't work. Why? Because I didn't have the move tool selected. So I now press down V and then I do delete, right? Okay, I now save, Control S, and let's start putting things together now. So what I want is I want new texts. So let's do that, and let's look at the old ones, all of the old ones. So this is the text that we want in the new format. And so let's see how we can do this. So we want a text coverage first, and the text coverage, let's make a copy. So this is the idea, that we have the templates up here and then we copy whatever we want. So for each line, let's take them all together. Okay, we always want a text, we always want a text coverage, 5-liner here, and a 5-liner outline. Okay, those are the ones that we are bringing up. So I select, I keep Control down, then I don't want to see these guys actually. Okay, and then I keep Alt key down and I drag these 3 down to panel 1, so they will all come together. And now I forgot that I should actually have the tail also, the thinner tail, so I'm bringing that down as well. And I put, and that goes under. So I have these 4 lines here, or 4 layers. So let's look at those layers then. Okay, we have 4 layers, but now they are in panel 1, so I have to move them. So let's see where where they actually are. Let's move. And now I'm using shift and left arrow. Whoops. Okay, everything is locked. Okay, so I have to unlock everything. F10, 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 F10. Okay, and we can start with clumping everything and shift left arrow. Just to get it into the realm of panel 1 approximately. So this one, and then we need the right outline also to go in there. So we approximately there, and we also want to select the text coverage to confine it to panel 1. And now this is, well, it's out of sight, but if we do like Control minus for the scale, and then return to commit the rectangle or that layer. Okay, so Control plus, and so that's panel 1. Okay, panel 2. Panel 2 is, we have 2 lines. Barry, for heaven's sake. Barry, for heaven's sake. Okay, and so we want a 2-line, we want a balloon text line, we want a 2-line text coverage. Whoops. Oh, and control, keep control down, text coverage 2-liner, outline 2-liner, and a medium tail, and then I'm press Alt and drag a copy down to there. Okay, and now we have to unlock, and we should actually also put the right text here also to get everything complete and nice. Should be nice. Panel 2 and panel 2. Like that, and the same thing with panel 1 here. Just do this quick correction here or adjustment. Panel 1, panel 1, panel 1, and panel 1. Okay. Make it nicer. That space where it should be. Okay. So we have done panel 1, and we're now on panel 2, and what we want is, of course, once again to move these layers into the realm, and we should first, let's do this first, that the text coverage should always be adjusted first so that we don't move that unnecessarily because it's so big. So okay, and then we have the rest of the lines, the balloon text lines. Okay, we can just take those, and this is going to be right aligned, so I'm just approximately putting it there. And then we have the right outline. This should be approximately there. We will do the exact positioning later, and then we should have the tail there or something. So that's number 2. And now we can remove those. Oh no, let's keep them for a while. Alright, so now we take number 3. We know here again we want two lines. So what we'll do is we'll simply make a copy of the 4 layers in panel 2. So I'm keeping Alt down and I'm dragging down, and we have panel 3 layers here. Okay, and now we just want to select them all by keeping Shift down, and we want to hide panel 2, we want to show panel 3, and we can, and this should also be right aligned because she's speaking to the right here. So okay, and then we want to fix the text coverage, just dragging this out a little bit, and return for commit, and now there seems to be something wrong here. What is wrong? Why is this? Okay, so let's zoom in. There's an instruction here. So somehow or other, as you can see on the title here, I made a mistake. Or did I? Well, the problem is that it should be a 2-liner. So I didn't make any mistake. It's just that I have 3 lines of text from the template that I haven't changed yet. So everything is okay. I just have to put the right text here, which should be 2 lines, and then the balloon size and the balloon coverage, the text coverage here will be perfectly fine. So this is why it looks strange here. So only 2 lines in the final result we should have. Okay, so we have 3 panels there, and now we want a 1-liner. Okay, so we can do a 1-liner, and we want, of course, a balloon, another text, and another 1-liner text coverage, and 1-liner outline, and then another tail. And I'm keeping Alt down while I'm dragging down to panel 4. And here's one I forgot, apparently. This is the old one, I should delete it like that. And now we should show them. And let's move them into the realm of panel 4. Oh, but first the text coverage, as I said before, the text coverage, move tool. Why is, okay, I have to unlock first. Okay. Unlock, and we'll do the text coverage here, commit by enter, and we can select all the others which are approximately in the same position and we move them horizontally by using the space and right arrow. But now you see this panel here is going to be left aligned because Barry here is talking to the left. So this text I can't will probably go something like to there or something. And so we just need to supply a left one here. later on. And the tail goes there, so we can just move it up. It's going to come here somewhere, like that. So this is the preliminary placement. Okay, so now our next goal is to reposition. We have to reposition the images. Okay, and so we make so now we can see approximately how much space we have, and this is one of the lessons of this session, is that until you know how big the balloon is going to be, before that you don't know actually how much space you have left to position anything in. So that's one of the secrets of professional comic development, is that you don't just draw into a panel without knowing exactly where the balloon is going to be. I mean, I see so much comics that they just sort of like add on the balloons in the last minute in Photoshop or something. It's just as if it wasn't so important like that. And so, but everything has to, if you do it in a professional way, you must take into consideration the exact text and the exact size of the balloon before you can start composing the picture. That's one of the most important aspects of designing a good panel or a good row or a good page. All right, so now we see here that the space we have left here is whatever we have under the text coverage here. And by that I mean, for instance, here in panel 3, let's isolate the text coverage. I'm keeping Alt key down and I'm clicking here on this view icon. Okay, I didn't get the right one. Where is it? Outline, sorry. Well, now the text coverage is there. Where is the text coverage? Why does it look like that? Okay, it's panel 4. Okay, I made that mistake. So it's at panel 3. Okay. So the text coverage for panel 3 is there. Okay, so there it is. Okay. So then whatever we have below here, whatever is the actual composition space available for the design. So even if you could argue that sometimes the balloon maybe only goes here or to here, and that you have some space over here, but that is not very much to use as a composition rule. You can have some background here, of course, but the real impact of the panel comes from the rectangle under the balloon. I say, this is my realization, if you may call it, or my idea, that as long as you have put the balloon where it should be, then you have paved the way for the actual composition of the panel. But of course you have to know that, for example, it should be Francesca here, right? In this panel, you have to know that, and you have to know that she's angry, or she's confused maybe, and all these things. So you have to know that, of course, but the actual placement and the actual angle by which in this, and the space and the white space here, the negative space here, that is determined by the position of the balloon. Alright, so that's a rant, but I think it could be important for some to understand this. Alright, so we have a preliminary placement of the balloons, and now we want to enter the text. We want to put the text, the old text here, into this new size. So I'm pressing the T key, as in Tom, Terry. For text, the text, or the type tool, maybe it's called. And then I'm using this old text here just to get to be able to start. Okay, and now I'm doing this to avoid starting with the green ones. I'm going to explain exactly why they are green and red and black. But my first entering here is that we want everything in black. And whenever I'm using these 3 periods, I'm cutting and copying, because these are a different size. Alright, so you can see better here. Right. Okay, let's make it a little. Alright, so let's see, I'm just typing this in now. And because of this, I have to get the new size. So okay, so I can do this. I need 5 lines. Okay, I need 5 lines. And oh no. Okay, we should take the periods here. Something like that. Paste. Trouble. And right, and paste. Hopefully this will be pretty good. So you see here, this is 17 points here, and this is just 13 points up here. So you can 17, 13. So this is why I was cutting the initial E here on all the lines, because Oh, so you just understand that. Okay, so now I have this. I need three dots, not two. 3 dots I need. Okay. And then I have these letters down here, and the idea with the red and green letters is that this typeface here is I've prepared this especially for this purpose, that I want to replicate my actual handwriting as perfectly as possible. So I'm fine adjusting certain characters which I myself draw a little differently than the Myriad Pro typeface. So for example, E, I draw this a little more narrow, so which is why it's red. So when I do this, I now can approximate the exact width of my text when I'm later hand lettering it on my little light table. So I can predict exactly, almost maybe within 1% or 2% or something like that, what the width is going to be. So far I've always been able to predict it. So because this is important, if I want to know in advance what the size of the balloon is going to be. So I want to. I'm not hand lettering the text and then I'm doing the balloon. No, because I want it to be independent. Why? Because I'm doing it in different scales. So if I've hand lettered the text, I cannot easily see what how big the balloon is, because the balloon has to be drawn in a different scale. So I have to have a way to know how it all is going to look like when I have separately decreased the scale to correspond to the scale that we're looking at now. So that's the whole. It's a complicated but very useful thing to have this helping hand typeface, so I can predict the amount of space it occupies in the horizontal dimension. Alright, so let's see if we have, so now I'm just going to bring up the actual, my whole sheet here of my dummy font, wherever that is. See if I have, there it is, okay. So let's, okay, so these are the ones that are important. Okay, I can see everything nicely, and I can also increase the size here, so we can get some better view perhaps. Alright, so we go back to panel 1, we have trouble, right, and so now the idea is simply that, okay, whoops, sorry. I'm selecting all and delete here. So I have my 5 lines here. And so what is he doing? He's talking to the left, right? His position. So we have to left align the balloon. Just so we know that. But before we do that, we have to go through these letters here. All the letters that are different. So the A and the E, the M and the N, the T, U, V and W, right? And so I'm doing the A now and exchanging the A here, and there's no more A's, okay? Do we have any M's? No. Do we have any N? No. Do we have any T? Yes. Trouble. There is trouble. And we have U's, a lot of U's. Maybe it's only 3. And we have a V here. And that seems to be it. And then we have a big W here also, which we should correct. Like that. All right. So that's, and now save. Okay, the next thing is to finish off the balloon outline. And the balloon outline, we have the right part there. V for move tool, and I'm going to duplicate it by keeping Alt down and dragging upwards to get a copy. And then I'm going to shift down and left arrow because we want it left aligned. And then I'm going to do a flip by Control K. Flip horizontally. You may not have this Control K as a quick tool, but you may use some other, it doesn't matter, but it's a flip horizontally. Okay, now we're going to zoom in. We're going to Control plus twice, and going to align the left arrow here. Okay. And now, so now the idea is that we have to use this green vertical line here as the left alignment of the text. So I'm now selecting the text layer, and I'm using the left key to left align. So I'm left aligning the widest row here. I'm not left aligning this one because the whole block here is centered. And now the only thing left to be done on the outline is we have to move the left one, or the right one, to the left. We're doing something like that. So then once again, this is the widest one. So and this is also, but okay. And now, since we have the right one selected, I do the M for Marquee Tool, and I just cut this out. So we get more space here, so we see it more clearly. And then a last adjustment is that I'm having the right balloon outline selected, and I'm using the Marquee Tool again, and I'm cutting, or not cutting, I'm copying and pasting immediately, and then I get another layer up here, which is the center portion. So I use V for move tool, and I'm bringing it up. I'm going in with Control plus, and I'm just making sure that it looks okay. That's good enough. And then Shift left arrow, and then I'm just dragging it out as long as I want it to the left, and then Enter for commit, right? Okay, so now we have the whole balloon, which I later, of course, have to draw on the light table. And then we just select the tail and make some quick adjustment here, and we rotate to his mouth, and maybe we do it a little smaller there, something like that. Maybe a little to the right there, but okay, that's good enough for now. So one consideration here is, of course, that you could decide to make it less steep, or you could make it steeper, or you could make it more like this, but have it over here instead. But then that would, I think, interfere too much with his hair here, so I prefer to have it a little longer there, and something like that instead. But it should point to his mouth some way or other, or in the vicinity of it. Alright, so that's that, and so panel 1 is ready, and we can now just take away the text there. And now we have the second one. We do the same thing. Barry, for heaven's sake. And so the text tool, T, copying the H to get the black text. And but now we see here that in the old idea here we have the italics. The first word and the last word is italics, so I shouldn't actually have the Roman text here. We should have the italic text there, and then I should have the italic text at the end also there. Okay. And then I'm usually having two spaces, heaven, in between each word to simulate what I'm doing in my hand lettering. Okay, so we have for heaven's sake, let's sake, and a space to the exclamation mark, and like that, and then Barry, right there, home key, delete. And maybe here we have this idea we could do something like that on 3 lines instead. And this would probably make a nicer balloon, but then we would get less space here because we need space for the motion lines here. And so if we make the balloon too far down here, then we will interfere here with those lines. I think those are quite important here. So I'd rather have more text than a 2-liner instead of a 3-liner. So that's my decision, at least. But maybe interesting to see that there really are alternatives along the way. So now I'm just restoring the 2-liner and I'm saving it. And now what we want to do is we want to so this is going to be right aligned 1, and we're going to zoom in. We're going to adjust the balloon outline, the right one. Oh, we are on the wrong panel. So this is the V for the move tool, and I'm just moving it a little bit to the right until the red disappears. So now it's aligned to the right, and when that is done, I'm now keeping Alt down, dragging upwards. I'm changing the title to left here, and I'm using Control left arrow. Oh, no, sorry, Shift left arrow. Sorry about that. I'm keeping left arrow down until here, and then I'm using Control K for flipping horizontally. And then I have to go back to the text to see that it's right aligned. So the exclamation mark here is lining up with my green help line. And so I'm going back to the left. The left outline here, and so I'm doing the same here, adjusting that to F is left aligned to this help line, like that, and then I'm removing the red line here because we're not left aligning the balloon outline. We are right aligning the balloon outline here to the panel, like that. So that's done, and then we do the same thing as I did, which we copy a part of the outline here and paste it immediately, and we rename it to center, and then we use the V for the move tool, and we zoom in like that, and then we shift down arrow and a little more down arrow, shift left arrow. How much do we need? Something like this, and then we drag it out until we get coverage there, and then return for commit. Okay, and then and then we select the tail, and maybe we can do something like maybe a little off there, and then let's rotate it a little bit. That, and maybe move a little bit like that. Something like that. So we have a space for the rotation lines. If Fran is going to be in that position, that is, so maybe we should rethink that. So drawing Fran is there, so I select Fran and move tool V, and maybe she is something like this instead, I think. Because that will line up with Barry here also in that. And maybe even Barry should be a little smaller. I'm not sure. No, I think we'll keep him as it is, but let's see, we have Barry here. I think we'll move him a little bit over here. Move him a little bit over there. Okay. I think that's better. So he comes something like that. Alright, so now panel 3. We have a balloon text, and now we can hide it, number 2, because it's done. And in number 3 we want to change the text here once again, of course, and we do that by, we have this selected, and we have T for type tool, or text tool, and we want, let's start with we only need 2 lines here, and stop is right now, and then we need the italics right now. Now space to exclamation point, like that, and we want the madness here also. We really want this madness. Okay. All right, like that, and save as approximately right, and we should have a uppercase stop and an uppercase R, and we can just remove this for like that, and now we just have to make the same same exchange as we did. We take the small letters first, A, there's no A, there's E, no. Do we have any M? Yes, but it's italic, so we don't change it. N, no. Do we have any T? Yes, T. Right. And there's another one there. And U and V and W. None of those in Roman. Okay, good. And now we just have to exchange the big ones. The S is going to be like this, and the R is going to be like that. Right. Alright, to commit the text by the enter on the numerical keypad, and then we are going to right align the text. So we adjust, we zoom in here, and we select the outline, the right outline, and the V tool, and so the red tag, no, the red line disappears. And now we move the text itself to the left, shift left arrow, and the small arrows here to the left as well. And now we go back to the right one, and then we duplicate it by Alt down and drag. And we rename it to left here, and we remove the copy. And shift left arrow to move it around there somewhere. Control K, flip horizontally, and align it with the help line, the green help line here. So the S is like that. And then M for Marquee Tool, delete, into a more clean design, and then we select the balloon outline, the right balloon outline again, and we copy and we paste, and we rename it to center, so we get everything right name, and then we zoom in, and then V tool, and we use our arrow up and down and arrow left with shift, and then when we have done that, then we must find the so we can auto scroll also here, and then we let it go and we commit by enter. So Control minus to zoom out, and then we have an approximate design here, and then we zoom out a little more, and to prevent the anchor marks or the anchor stuff to interfere with the balloon tail, I'm going to move this one as far away as possible, and then I'm going to rotate it like that, which I think is going to be better. It's more clean. Like that, okay. And then panel 3 is done, so we can hide that text. And so we have, last but not least, panel 4, and we go to the text. We get the black text here first. So that's the ordinary I there, and then we want some metallic text here. italic text with a okay, delete, enter, numerical enter, okay, and so Barry is looking to the left, so the balloon must be left aligned. So let's take a copy of the right one here, alt down, drag up, and rename to left, and remove the copy here, and remove the copy there also. So okay, so left and V for move tool, and we're going to move it to the left. We're going to flip it with Control K, and we're going to increase to 200% or something to see where that the red line is disappearing nicely here. Okay, so there it is, like that. And now we're going to select the text itself and V for move tool and position it like that. And then we select the right part, and then we use the left arrow with shift to position it along the vertical green line here, and return. And we don't need a middle part, the center part there, because it's already dark green. So, and then we just adjust the pointer, the tail, and we can make it, since we can make it a little smaller because it's only one line, so proportionally that's, I think, looks better if we have a little smaller tail there. Okay, and we move a little bit like that, so I think that's pretty good. And then of course we should remove this red line here because it's left aligned. So so M for Marquee Tool and remove that, and then that's done. All right, and now we can hide the text there, and we can engage the doc name as it should be, and we can see the old, let's see, the old balloon texts. We can save those guys to see them, and the only thing left now is we want to get the cropping rects. So I'm first starting with the printing cropping rect here. So I'm now doing the usual Control-Alt-Shift-S for save for web. Like that. Image exceeds, doesn't matter. I still want it. Save, and we want to save it as in the right folder, of course. We're not in the page 4, row D here, and we want it to come here. So I have the old one here, but I've saved it already in the folder here, so I'm just going to replace it here, and you can see here I get this replace dialog also, and Now it does it. So that's done. But now I made a mistake, right? I don't want these text coverage all over the place here, so I'm going to have to redo it again. I'm sorry about that. I didn't plan on doing that. So I'm removing all the text coverage, or the removing, but I'm making them invisible. Text coverage, so it's more clear now. Okay. So I'm saving that, and I'm redoing the same thing. Save for web. Saving for web exceeds. Okay. Return key, and I'm doing the same thing for printing. Yes. Replace. And then the last thing is I'm now going back up again here and putting the other cropping rect now for the panels. And now I'm doing the save for web again, return key, saved for panels, save and replace. And now we can save the original document. We can skip saving that, and then we can just see how the folder looks like. So if you're using the photo viewer, the photos here, and I think that looks good. And this is the 4 panels. Also, it looks good. All right. So that's all for today. And once again, here's the proposed cover for 987 degrees centigrade. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.